So last year when you guys came to visit us, we did the podcast and we went upstairs for lunch and we said, hey, what's the status of us working together directly? And Lauren, you said, well, this was kind of the last piece. We wanted to come and make sure everything was, we want to see it. We want to put our hands on it and check. And if you guys are in, we're in.
Right.
And it was awesome, right? And then that got us an invite to our first RCM summit that you guys put on. It's amazing event you guys do. And it was within driving range from our office. So Cole and I are driving down there. We're like, all right, it's our first big
invitation.
Boy. Yeah, it's our first. We've heard about this thing. We've never got we got 1 hour with them. What are we going to pitch them? Yeah. And we had a bunch of different things. And one of them was said, we started introducing a 5-ounce product through our True series that we do at SD Bullion that we've been doing for years now. That's our series, and it did really well. And then we brought the Awakening series to market, which was a 5-ounce series. Then the Scottsdale Commander series was a 5-ounce series, and we've done really well with these 5-ouncers. And once you get your hands on these 5-ounce coins, it's just kind of like a light bulb, and you're like, I'm in love with it, and I get it that the canvas is so much better. And so one of the ideas was, it's never been a 5-ounce silver maple. Let's pitch these guys an exclusive 5-ounce silver maple. And we went in there, we did the meeting and
shut down pretty quickly.
Of all the things on the list, we kind of walked out, was like, I don't think we're getting the 5-ounce maple deal.
In the most Canadian way, it was like we appreciate your interest. And I was like, man, I think that's not good. I think that's a no for us.
I think that's a no. Yeah. But Cole kept bringing it up to Dave constantly, like, hey, and eventually we got there, right? I think at the LBMA last year we met for breakfast, and you said, I got good news. 5-ounce maple's yours. And that was pretty cool. The first ever 5-ounce silver maple leaf you guys have ever made, right? And we can look at it. We'll have close-up videos of it. And I want to talk about it, obviously. And I want to, I'm super excited. So, I think let's maybe, you want to pass them out?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at them.
Yeah, so we're calling it the Grand Maple, and their sales sheets are in front of us, but you may want to go ahead and read for the audience that first line that they came up with. Here you go, Lauren.
Yeah, you got time. I think it's okay to handle these with our hands, since these are...
We'll touch the rim.
Yeah, these are just samples. They're going back. Don't worry. We're not going to spot them. But, I mean, this is such a beautiful coin. Obviously, the maple leaf is a worldwide brand, and we're going to get and talk about the maple. And I think, just seeing this, when we came and pitched you guys, we said that the 5-ounce maple, we had an idea of what that was, and then it kind of developed, and there's a lot of backstory, right? 1.5 years. And I remember telling Cole, I mean, I was just not, I didn't think a big leaf on a coin, on a big coin. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's it. And boy, was I wrong. The collaboration between the teams and to come out with this is really, really special. And to have the exclusive at SD Bullion is just really, really special. So we appreciate the trust, and we're obviously we're not gonna let you down. We're gonna make sure that this thing is shipped and sold worldwide, and it's gonna have a worldwide brand. We'll make sure of that. But yeah, I think whoever cut this first line on the sell sheet just cut it perfectly. To truly appreciate a maple leaf's beauty and distinguishing details, only a grand canvas will do. Enter the Mint's first 5-ounce silver bullion coin. The first 5-ounce, not just the first 5-ounce maple, the first 5-ounce silver bullion coin
it is
the Royal Canadian Mint's ever made. I'm holding it in my hand.
Yeah, Amazing. It's a pretty big deal for us.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop talking now, but I'm interested to hear more about how we got here, because I remember all the iterations, the conversations that I wasn't involved in, and I think the audience is going to want to hear all that too, and how we got to this product that's so beautiful. I can't stop looking at the leaf.
Yeah, so to kind of set the stage a little bit for context, we had, years ago, the U.S. Mint produced the America the Beautiful, named the ATB program, and it was very popular. Collectors and investors really loved it. I think there were 50 coins, I believe, in that series, maybe 52 actually. Regardless, in that program, I think ended 2019-ish, 2020. And so whenever we were evaluating our own kind of custom portfolios, a smaller business, we're like, man, that 5-ounce, is something that we feel is missing for our customers. So we tried it, and it was a success. And then we tried it again in a little bit bigger way, and it was always a success, like you said, leading through all the iterations. So whenever we're evaluating our opportunity for what can we bring to the market that doesn't really, we feel like exists for customers as a stacker, that was always top of mind, and it was a common request from us to you. And understandably, it's like, well, you know, we gotta make sure we do it right. And so there was a lot of time taken to kind of set the stage. And so we feel like 5-ounce bullion creates an entirely different profile from an aesthetic whenever you're holding it, a weight whenever you're holding it, the packaging. We'll get into all these details. And so we were always talking 5-ounce, 5-ounce, 5-ounce. And to be able to do it with a maple, which the symbolism of the maple leaf, while we appreciate it, talking to you guys about it, I mean, it's on the table. It's understated. So let's cover that first. What that kind of means to you guys, and from a brand perspective, and from a kind of a national identity perspective, the maple leaf and the identity, and then we'll get into how lucky we are to have it on a coin.
Okay, great. So I mean, the 5-ounce bullion coin, something we've had on our mind for quite some time, and timing is everything with these things. So it certainly did not go unnoticed that the ATB program ceased, but we've had thoughts about that. And it's always a question of what's the right platform to introduce a 5-ounce coin. We recognize that void in the market, and then kind of having the conversation with you guys at the right time in the market, you know, under the conditions we were in at that time, things seem to kind of converge as this is the right time to do this launch. And we're, you know, very excited to do this. And I think it was obvious that let's use our big brand ambassador, the maple leaf, on this new platform. It seemed to be the right decision, and it's a well-recognized symbol of Canada. It's a well-recognized brand in the bullion business. It's on our flag. You know, we chose the red maple. The flag, you know, the maple leaf on our flag is red. So there's, you know, a lot of thought went in. I know you guys collaborated with us well.
This is the red maple.
It is
on the coin. Okay. Yeah.
There are 10 different species of maple trees, and you know, we gave it. I know, Cole, you were quite involved in some of those discussions about what's the right image to put on that coin. And, you know, the maple leaf is an iconic bullion image, and it was the obvious thing to do. And then which one do we do was kind of a decision. I don't know if you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, it's because to your point, it's like, say we agree that we want to explore 5-ounce. Well, then what is it? And you guys have done an excellent job with other kind of custom strikes. Personally, we're kind of more oriented towards what do we feel like has a long-term, what's the most longevity-oriented kind of concept, and how can we fit in with that? And so doing a leaf was something we were like, well, on the surface, you may be like, why is it just a different leaf? Well, because there's a ton of opportunity, and the execution and design and strike in the leaf is really underassumed. It's honestly really beautiful. But whenever we sit there and your design team was like, okay, well, we can do a red maple, we're like, makes total sense. It's the most populated tree in the U.S., this most common species. Mm-hmm. It's actually the state tree of Rhode Island. I didn't know if you knew that. And so it can grow anywhere, all on the East Coast, the South, Midwest. I don't really know this much out West, but it doesn't really matter. So we're like, man, this is a perfect fit, and you guys already do it really, really well on a 1-ounce platform with the iconic Walter Ott design. And so we started exploring. We looked at different species of maple leafs, and we settled on this one for those reasons, as well as the fact that, I don't know if you guys can pick it up on this video, but there are full radial lines stretching from the rim all the way to the center. Yeah. And you notice it on 1-ouncers, but whenever you're holding the 5-ounce profile, it is really, really noticeable, and your eye really appreciates it. And one of the challenges is you get radial lines, and they come to a convergence in the center, and that can be really difficult to strike. So we had to make sure the leaf profile itself was tall, wide, big enough to really cover the space, and we didn't want to diminish any part of it. We wanted it basically, and I could look at emails, it almost probably said word for word, we want a big maple leaf in the middle. Like, don't worry about a stem. Don't worry about anything else. Biggest leaf you can let us have.
Yeah, the stem decision, though, was a little bit more tricky than that, I think, because you're so used to seeing the 1-ounce maple, you know? Yeah. And I remember having that conversation, stem or no stem, and it's like, I don't know. I go back to, like, you're just going to put a big leaf on a coin? Like, okay.
It worked. Yeah. Our product team really likes that collaborative discussion. And the fact that you guys were very engaged in those choices was helpful for us to have a sounding board for our ideas as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we ended up with is a exclusive 5-ounce, first ever 5-ounce bullion coin of the Canadian Mint, designed and tailored for really an American and North American as well as global audience. You guys have a global audience, so these are going to be popular worldwide. But what a treat, and so we really appreciate it.
What are your opinions of the 1 ounce versus the 5 ounce? I know, because it's kind of our first time all looking at it together. I mean, what do you think is the first 5 ounce bullion coin, like for investors out there? I mean, I have my opinions. I'm very favorable towards the 5 ounce just because it's so much bigger and it looks cooler.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think?
I love the size. I think that's a huge feature. And as an investor, you want to feel that. So that was one of the biggest impressions I had first. But I really have to tip my hat to you guys collaborating with our team, because I think going without the stem and going as big maple leaf as possible made it a differentiator.
Yeah.
So that's something unique that you guys will always have. So kudos to you on that.
Definitely looks different. So is something as unassuming as a leaf on a coin. Other people try to come out with coin designs. We see hundreds of them pitched to us a year. And generally speaking, the execution is the hardest part. It may look good in a sketch.
Yeah.
How do you make it really look good with metal flow? Because it's 2 dies striking on both sides. And that's one thing that really stood out to me on this one is it's just your eye goes straight to the leaf and you kind of stay there, which is a good thing, because if your eye wanders, whenever you're looking at design, you're like, okay. So talk to us about how that was a priority for you guys, how the process from the beginning to end of selecting a designer and evaluating their work. Like, you want to get into any of that?
Again, obviously we work as a team. So when we do a new coin, we always go through the process of selecting an artist who could execute that vision most precisely. And we look at some different options. And again, you talk about this being unassuming, but we think it's also iconic. We think it's something that's classic. It's something that will stand the test of time. So we wanted it to be something that was very striking on this, the wonderful canvas. So again, like you said, a simple maple leaf on a coin seems simple, but it's really not. Making little choices about the veins in the leaf, how much of the coin the leaf occupies, and what to do with the other space. And so it's there's a lot of subtlety that actually makes a difference. And interestingly enough, like the sketches you have in front of you on the sheets, when we're making a decision about taking a product forward, that's what we're going by. Yeah. And then to actually see it in person, it's like, wow, that's way better than we thought it would be. So it's really... it really feels good to kind of see the finished product. And we always have faith that our teams will execute well, but it's still really nice to see the finished product at the end of it.
There's no doubt that for a quote-unquote bullion strike, if you told me this was a high relief, I'd believe it, because you can see the leaf is coming off the coin when I turn it.
It's beautiful. It's
absolutely beautiful. And to see, this is our first ever custom product too with the Royal Canadian Mint, right? So to see your process and that the rigorous, I got to tell you, I was pressing Cole, and I said, hey, dude, we got to get this thing to market. Like we're coming up on a timeline with other things. Like we got to get this out. And he was like, just trust me. This is how the RCM works. And they have it, because I was saying, like, I haven't seen this coin in my hand.
Trust the process.
Yeah, we've had way too many, I would say, custom launches in the last 12 to 18 months where you get the coins in the vault and you try to launch them and they don't pass QA. And I'm like, Cole, I haven't even seen this coin. We're supposed to launch it in 3 weeks. He's like, don't worry, RCM is a different process. Their quality restrictions are insane. And I was like, whatever, okay. And so sure enough, you guys got the first trial strikes back, and they didn't pass. And when you look at them, this is them. You can't see anything wrong with them at all. And so one of the big differentiators, in my opinion, with this coin is that normally whenever we do custom programs, if we're going to send some to grading, we have to ask the mint to kind of do specialty strikes. That way those have a better chance of grading. And basically with this program, every coin is going to be struck the same. So the thing that gets graded at MS70 is going to be this exact same strike that you can buy raw, which is just, it's insane to me. And now I can see why, holding a reject in my hand, I can't wait to see the non-rejects, that this is an actual, just a regular bullion strike. So yeah, Cole was right. And
Does that hurt?
Super
to
pressed
say that?
I'm used to it.
We're gonna cut that in post.
Yeah, I'm used to it by now. So yeah, congratulations, and again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to take this to the world. We're super excited, obviously, to get this program going.
Yeah, and then so the other kind of things to point out, the text is going to be reminiscent of the exact same text you have on the 1 ounce SML in terms of font, location, things like that. The radial lines we wanted to keep the same. We wanted to have as many parallels as we could possibly find between what people know and love worldwide, which is the 1 ounce SML. Like you said, it is iconic. I'd say worldwide, it's probably not matched in terms of acceptance.
It does travel well, yes.
In different economies and different countries. And so, this being such a great kind of co-pilot, if you will, for the first year. And we're going to set the mintage. I think we've talked about this. We're going to do, for the first year, we're going to do 100,000 coins in total. And so that's going to be what we have, and that's going to be the market availability. And then we'll, from there,
let the market dictate.
Just on your point about the radial lines, it's not only about familiarity, it's also a really important security feature to have the radial lines to protect the investment in your coin. It's got the laser mark with the 26-year inside the little maple leaf. So those are all not just familiar features, but also important features from a security perspective.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you guys have really conquered is the white spotting, right? So I assume this is going to be the same process, the longevity of it, and it's going to be shipped in a capsule, by the way. So it's not going to be
huge differentiator. Each coin is going to be in a capsule. Coming in the boxes are going to have 36 coins. We did that to utilize the existing SML boxes, right? To not over-engineer something new. But it's kind of a unique thing whenever you have 180 ounces of silver at current prices that right now to buy a box of silver, you're having to pay, $25,000, something like that. This equates to roughly 10,000 US. So quite a unique little entry point because there's going to be 180 ounces, 36 coins per box.
So I got a question. So, I think the people listening to this, it's not so easy to just call the RCM and say, hey guys, I want a 5 ounce bullion coin. I want to put a maple on it. What are all the things that we don't know about that you guys have to go through to consider taking something like this to market?
Often it's starting with the collaboration with Lauren's team and the product management team. And it's basically getting the feedback and the desires that you guys have and then pulling together a team to try and start making this happen. I think the collaboration, Cole, you did really made it unique. And so the product manager would take this to several artists and then do a bit of a competition. But we have relationships with a lot of artists and we know who's good at what. So we would invite those to be participating on a competition and we'd pick one of the best ones to give the project to. So that's something that goes on in the background.
How long does that competition? Is it like everyone gets an email Monday at 8 a.m. and they got?
It's a couple of weeks. It's not. Yeah, it's not too long, but it's especially when we work with artists that are good at animals, artists that are good at maple leaves, or artists that are good at portraits, things like that. So we know with our database of artists, we know who would be good to engage with, and then we pick the best outcome. So that's with your collaborative input as well.
After you guys get all that material and information, like which department, which title has to ultimately say like, okay, here's the stamp of approval, you can go with it. Yeah.
So the team works together. So there's a formal process of we do run a business case through, but then the art aspect goes on. Every coin that we produce goes on to an art board that I'm presented with by the product manager and the director of product management. And I actually personally sign every art board, which then is submitted, because it's Canadian currency, it goes to the Minister of Finance, which is the last step of approval for that design. And once that's done, then we go to production.
Okay. So the Minister of Finance eventually has to sign off on
it. Because it's Canadian currency, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and we have your screenshot. We'll overlay on the video of you signing off on the project.
Sure.
That's it's amazing the amount of effort and all the things it takes to pull off a project like this. That it goes unseen. Next thing you know, there's a 5 ounce maple for sale, but the backstory of how it actually got there is 2 years and just a
Right.
lot of collaboration back and forth. And it's first ever. So a lot of new things you guys probably had to go through as well with specs and all the different
Right.
things. So very cool.
One thing that we're going to probably try to introduce as a part of this is there's always a trial strike period, is generally speaking how you guys would describe it, where you're testing the dies, testing every part of the process, if you will. And we're going to set those aside and try to send those all off to get, or a decent chunk of them to get slabbed, and maybe
That's
do some
cool.
cool things with the labels. But to your point earlier, we're really not worried about. Normally the conversation is, okay, now take extra care of these because these are going to be handled separately. And the commentary was, we're going to handle these the first 1,000 as we would anything else, and
Yeah.
they're going to do just fine. And looking at it, of course, we have no doubt.
So can you explain what a trial strike is? Whoever wants to field that, it's actually a question for myself.
Do you want to take that, or?
If you can.
Oh, okay. I can. Well, I mean, essentially, when we, do the design, then we have to produce the dies, and then we have to make sure that we do strikes to make sure that, is the pressure of the press the right, get the right sort of relief and definition on the coin. So we continually will try and strike. We also make sure that when we're trialing this, we make sure that it has a reasonable die life. We make sure it's like manufacturable at scale, at an efficient throughput level. So there's a lot of sort of engineering considerations beyond the aesthetics. So so we try to be really thorough. So once we're ready to hit go for the big run, the big production run, we know that there's no unanticipated issues along the way.
Yeah, like die life is really important. It's not just one die, it's a number of dies that are going to be producing the grand maple.
Yeah, and those are more expensive than probably most realize. So they're in the thousands of dollars.
I think
from our
they
own.
start at, for a poor one. I think it starts at $2,500.
Yeah.
And there's designer time and all of the human elements to that creation as well.
Yeah.
But I think our operations team's known worldwide for the quality of dies that the Royal Canadian makes.
And you guys are the ones kind of contrary to other custom strikes done around the world.
We make the dies.
You make your own dies.
Yeah.
It's a big differentiator.
Yeah.
So you're going to take those strikes? You're going to take some of those strikes? So some of the trial strikes, I guess, will end up in our inventory?
Oh,
one
yeah.
way or another?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. The trial is probably going to be happening this week or next week. The trial
Okay.
striking, and we're going to
Okay, gotcha.
look at sending the majority of those down for the first ever. It's got to be kind of, we're not the biggest fans of grading everything, but we want to kind of treat some of them with reverence that they deserve.
Okay, well, again, this is such a beautiful coin. I can't stop looking at the leaf. If you're watching this video, it's for sale. So go to SD Bullion and buy. Get it in your hand as well.